Hi everybody, Kirsten here, and today is my first Smutty Rec Sunday. I want to apologize for my voice real fast. I'm a little sick, but I wanted to stick to my posting schedule. So if it's a little hard to hear me, I'm trying to speak as loud as I can. Travis is in here, and he's just staring at me while he's watching Catfish on closed caption. So that's fun. You hear him laughing in the background, it's because he's making fun of me silently. So on Smutty Rec Sunday, what I plan on doing is talking about the books that I read over the past 2 weeks that are in the romance genre that do have that element to them. Since that is the books that I majority get asked for in recommendations, this would be a good way to just kind of get those out there every couple of weeks so you guys have something fresh to read. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it because I have a few books to talk about. So the first books that I want to talk about are part of the Dark Hunter series by Sherilyn Kenyon. I started reading these books around my senior year of high school. I really enjoy them and I hadn't read them in a really long time. So I went ahead and picked them up again recently. And I had forgotten how good they are. But these books follow Romans or Greeks, and something happened to them that was extremely jarring, and they wanted revenge so bad that a goddess would come down and she would offer them eternal life or their chance of revenge. And so they go throughout the rest of their life after their revenge is exacted, and they basically hunt demons for the rest of their immortal life. There's a lot of erotica in them, which I had forgotten about, but there is a ton. It's really good. I end up reading each book in a sitting. There's about 23 books to choose from. The first book that she wrote is not part of the series, but it is connected to the series. So the first book in the actual series is Night Pleasures, and each book follows a different couple, so it's not the same narrator every single time. The next book I want to talk about is On Dublin Street by Samantha Young. I have been recommended this book a million times. I can't even tell you how many times people have written in the YouTube comments section that I need to read these books. Can't even tell you how many times people on Tumblr have been like, Kirsten, read this book. I think you'd really like it. I never was able to find a physical copy of this book, and I finally found one day when I was going through Barnes & Noble. They had it in their bargain section. I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and grab it, and I'm so glad I did because it is so good. It follows a girl named Jocelyn, and her best friend had just moved away to England, so she seeks out a new roommate and finds one, and the flat that she's living in is on Dublin Street. And she meets this man in the cab when she's going to her apartment to meet her new roommate. And it just happens to be her roommate's brother. And there's a lot of back and forth between the two of them. This is one of my favorite kind of smutty books because there's a lot of tension. And that's one of my favorite things about new adult books in particular, is that there's always such a substantial amount of sexual tension in these books before anything actually happens. And there's so much buildup, and it's like my favorite part of these kinds of books. And there's tons of that in here. So definitely pick this book up if you haven't yet. It is a part of a series. I haven't gotten the rest of the books yet, but I'm sure I will soon. The next book I want to talk about is Real by Katy Evans. I just finished this book. It's not my favorite, but it is pretty smutty, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. So this story follows Brooke in Remington. Remington is a fighter, and Brooke is his physical therapist that he takes on tour with him. It's really back and forth, and it makes a lot of not a sense, but it's really good. Like, I couldn't stand them half the time, like, at all. Like, they're just really flighty characters, but it does the job for a good smutty read. It's really quick. It's kind of enjoyable if you can handle the fact that both characters kind of don't make much sense. And it's also part of a series that I'm probably not going to finish. The next book is Beautiful Boss by Christina Lauren. I know I've talked about this book before, but it's also one of my recent smutty reads. It is really tiny because it's a novella, and it follows my favorite couple out of the Beautiful Bastard books. That's Will and Hannah. Will is, I actually have the book right here. Will and Hannah's book is Beautiful Player, which this is my favorite of all of their books that they've written together. And it follows them with their married life. It really does kind of just pick up where the books left off. And Christina Lauren, their like partnership when they write these books is insane to me. I absolutely love the way that they write their characters and the dynamic that their characters all have with each other. And in these tiny 117 page book, there's so much stuff that happens, and it's definitely worth picking up. The next book I want to talk about is Hardwired by Meredith Wild. I bought these books a long time ago because they were on sale at Hastings for like 10 bucks each. I have every single book in the series, but I hadn't read them yet. I had been in a little bit of a book slump, so I thought I'd pick them up. And when I purchased these books, thought that they were going to have a BDSM element to them. They do not. It is called Hardwired. I don't know why it has this like weird like pillow background on the book. Whoever designed the covers probably needs to rethink what they did. But it's called Hardwired because it's about people in the tech business. And I had no idea why I went into it. But it's really good. There's a really awesome boss and employee dynamic, which I always kind of tend to love in these kinds of books. The protagonist, the young lady in this book, she's making an app and trying to sell it, and she ends up selling it to the company of her love interest, and she ends up actually getting an apartment in his building, which is strange, and there's just a lot of back and forth and a lot of tension, and I do love those kinds of books. I'm going to go ahead and finish this series. I'm assuming each book is about a different couple, and I will talk more about them as I read them. Alright, so that's all I'm going to talk about today. I don't want to make you listen to my voice any longer, and I probably shouldn't strain it any more than I already have. But that is my first Smutty Rec Sunday. You guys have a good week, and I'll see you next time.